Great. Let's get this going. All right, we are live here on the YouTube. It's 8:36 p.m. on December the 15th of 2021. And thank you for joining me this morning, this evening, this afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you. Hello, Apple Brooks. I'm glad you joined me. I am. I just uploaded a very short video about these stars. And is there any other voice in the background other than my voice? And can you hear me good, Apple Brooks? Hello, Rhonda and Apple Brooks. So we've got this going. And I just want to play just a tad bit of this star. If you're just tuning in, this is, I'm going to go somewhere with this. I really am. I have to do this first. But then I got to push this. So we're going to watch this just for a brief moment of this star moving around. I might have to get myself out of the way of this beautiful star because it is pretty. Stars are quite beautiful. They really are. And it's interesting seeing this star that is surrounded by all of these other stars. This is like a picture that you would get if you took a picture in the sky. This is what they depict the stars as looking like. You can tell that they're all different colors. But really, if you look at this one, this is one of my favorite ones, the Northeast Star. And I've yet to determine if it's part of a constellation or not, because I don't know how to read a sky map. I don't. But look at that, you all. So scientists have said that stars do have a lifespan. The majority of them are like 1 or 2 million years, but then some live billions to trillions of years. And I'm finding myself wondering, how on earth is that possible, and how did they come to that conclusion that stars actually live a long life? And they die. They live and they die, just like everything that has life. So it's really interesting how they come to that conclusion. Thank you all for joining. Yes, you can hear me. That's wonderful. So you can hear me. So we're just going to watch this star right here. We've saw it before. But just think, if all of these other stars that are up here in the sky, what if they all have movement like this? What if they all do? Is it just hydrogen? Is it hydrogen that's making all of these shapes and all of these colors? Is that what it is, hydrogen? I don't think that it is. I really don't think that it is. I'm going to read you something. I hope I stay on here. So I've looked over at this article on Scientific American. This astronomer at the Carnegie Institution explains that the length of a star's life depends on how fast it uses up its fuel, its nuclear fuel. Our sun, in many ways, an average sort of a star, has been around for nearly 5 billion of years and has had enough fuel to keep going for another 5 billion years. Okay, so almost all stars shine as a result of the nuclear fusion of hydrogen into helium. And they have temperatures as high as 20 million degrees. And the rate of energy, they say, let me take you to this screen. The rate of energy, look at this. So we can come over here. So the rate of energy, this is Scientific American. The rate of energy generation for a star is very sensitive to both temperature and gravitational compression from its outer layers. And these parameters are higher for heavier stars, and the rate of energy generation, in turn, observed luminosity, goes roughly as the cube of the stellar mass. So they say that some stars will exhaust their available hydrogen within a few million years. And on the other hand, the least massive stars that we know are so parsimonious in their fuel consumption that they can live to ages older than that of the universe itself, about 15 billion years. So we have this
Well,
one
looking
star
at the stars,
that you're looking at. We have it.
one
Um,
would ask themselves.
let's see where
and,
we
I
are.
mean, you should
I think my
ask.
voice is coming in on here, so we got to go back here. So we're going to fix that. You all got to fix that. Yes. Hello. Thank you for joining. So we have this star right here. And what they say is it's hydrogen. Hydrogen. They have lots of hydrogen in them. So I don't know about that, because this star that you're looking at, it has lots of different shapes, lots of different colors, and it really does appear to be living. But I didn't know hydrogen had a shape to it. I didn't know it had a shape. They also say that stars are still being born at the present time from dense clouds of dust and gas, but they remain deeply embedded in their placental material and cannot be seen to the visible light. So it's really interesting. It really is interesting that they say that stars have they're like a nuclear fusion. Almost all stars, I'm going to put you back over here. Let's do this. Take you back to this screen. Almost all stars shine as a result of nuclear fusion of hydrogen into helium. And they are hot with dense cores where temperatures are as high as 20 million degrees. So I ask you,
While looking at the stars,
is what I want to ask.
one
Is this
would ask
star
themselves, and I mean, you
Is it
should
just,
ask yourself, what star is
super,
this?
super hot?
Because
and
this
is it made
star
only
is in
of
the
hydrogen?
northeastern sky.
And
And
dust and stuff like that?
certainly,
Is
I
that
never
why
knew
it
that
changes shapes
stars,
and it has this all these
took
pretty
on
colors
this
to it? Is it
type
is
of
it because
behavior.
of that
I thought
explanation that
stars
they've
were
given?
just like a big
Hello.
burning
Yeah.
ball of rock or something like that. I never.
We got alien noise. Do we have alien noise, you all? I gotta I gotta listen to this. Is there alien noise? Okay, we've stopped. We stopped you all. Um, yeah. Okay, that's great. So what I'm wondering is, I don't think these stars are what they're saying they are. That's all I'm saying. I don't really feel that they are a result of nuclear fusion of hydrogen into helium, and that their hot, dense cores are temperatures as high as 20 million degrees. If they're talking about these stars that we're looking at, if they're talking about the star that we've got right here, I don't know. I don't believe it's like that. Yes, you all. You can hear alien noise. I'm going to tell you something. When I was since you're saying this, I'm going to tell you something. There's been several times that I've been talking on the cell phone to somebody, and when I'm talking, they say, "What are you saying? You sound like you are robotic." That's what they said. The first time I heard that, I was told that, it was around a month ago. And then I was told that again today. "Gina, what's wrong with your voice? You sound like a robot." And I thought, okay, this is the second time you've told me that my voice is sounding like a robot when I was talking. And then I had talked to another individual today, and they said the same thing, that there was like a distortion at times when I was talking, and my voice literally was changed or something, and they don't know what happened, but they didn't say nothing to me about it. Yeah. Everywhere in the universe. Robot talking too. So doesn't that make you wonder what's going on? Why people are hearing like robot talking from you and stuff like that? Yeah, stars give off frequencies. They do. So what's happened here with this video, if you're looking, this video, I think the very first 3 minutes of it, there's talking, because I was talking about that star, and I had put this in here to get this image on here, like this. But it was after like 3 or so minutes that I didn't do any more talking on that video. That's what you heard. And it's only like 7 more minutes from that time stamp. Scott Craig, what if we all are a form of robots and we don't know it? That's a theory. That really is a theory. I wouldn't want to know that. I wouldn't, because then we realize that we are highly intelligent. A cybernetic sound. We live in a hologram. We live in a hologram. Okay, y'all, I am going to take you somewhere else. We're going to go somewhere else. Okay, I'm gonna stick this Scientific American in this live stream right here so you can see it. That's that article that I read about the hydrogen and the nuclear fusion of hydrogen into helium. Okay, that's what I put in there. That one right there. So I do want to come over here. This is a very interesting website right here. It's from the, I'm going to show you where this is from. It's interesting. It's very, very interesting. Because I was asking myself,
while looking at
if
the
stars are living, then how do you define life? What is the scientific definition
you
of
ask yourself,
life?
what star
is what I was
this?
asking. So
Because
we're
this
going to come over here to this screen. I'm going to show you where I found it. Look at this right here. Astrobiology. Okay, defining life. December. It's right here, December 2010. So we scroll down here, and I can put this in here too. I want you all to see this because they're talking about NASA. How NASA defines life. Oh my goodness, you all, that scared me. One moment, please. Okay, sorry about that. So let's look at this. The NASA definition also captures a theory of life. So let's look at this, you all. So NASA's definition of life has another virtue. It conveys information about what its framers believe to be possible ways to generate features we value in life. By doing so, the NASA definition captures a theory of life. So what I found interesting is, look, the crew of Star Trek, The Next Generation, has encountered conceptual aliens that do not fit into the NASA's definition. The nanites that infected the computer of the Next Generation Enterprise in Episode 50 Evolution are informational or perhaps electromechanical, but in many cases not chemical. Their evolution is not tied to informational molecule like DNA, although they require a chemical matrix to survive. So I'm wondering now,
While looking at the stars,
why are they talking
would ask
about
themselves, and I mean, you should ask yourself, what?
I'm going to fix that right there. Well, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do to it. We got that. It's gone. So why are they taking what's happening on Star Trek and putting it into their papers? Why are they doing that? That's what you have to ask yourself. We're not going to have that happen again on here, you all, because I moved that video out of here. Why are they really referring to Star Trek unless Star Trek really is not fictional? What if it's real? What if it's real? What if everything happening on Star Trek is real? That's what I want to know. What if it's all real? So we're coming back over here. So they talk about the crystalline entity of episode 18, home soil, appears to be chemical but not obviously Darwinian. It seems to have no children. And the Calamarian episode 51, Deja Q. Why did they name that Deja Q? Like deja vu, and it's Deja Q. That's really interesting. So Deja Q are made of pure energy, not chemicals. And the sentient being known as Q, episode 1, Encounter at Farpoint and others, appears to be neither matter nor energy, flitting instead in and out of the continuum without the apparent need of either. So we've seen that. If you've seen Star Trek, I've seen that. It's a man who calls himself that, and he's like a god. This Q acts like a god in the Star Trek. Is what he does. And I think this is so strange that this paper is talking about Star Trek and NASA's definition of life and Star Trek. How can the two of them go together? How can they? That's so interesting. Yeah, without the aether. Yeah. Look, off-screen, other fictional forms of life appear to defy NASA definition. For example, Fred Hoyle, he published a story, The Black Cloud, a fictional entity that floats in our solar system and blocks out our sunlight, placing the Earth in distress. And after the black cloud realizes that the Earth holds self-aware forms of life, it politely moves out of the way and apologizes. Have you heard of that? The black cloud? A fictional entity that floats into our solar system and blocks our sunlight, placing Earth in distress, and then realizes that we have self-aware life forms on the Earth, and it politely just moves out of the way and apologizes. This sounds really strange. It really, really sounds strange that they're talking about all of this in this paper. No. I think that this is probably true, or they wouldn't have put it in a paper. That's what I'm thinking. I am thinking that. And if we were to encounter Q, the Calamarian, or any of these conjectural entities during a real, not conceptual trek through the stars, we would be forced to concede that they do represent living systems because they have the attributes that we value in living systems. Did you catch that? This is the big thing. This is the one thing. They just toed on theirself. They toed on theirself. Okay, look. Hypothetically speaking, if we were to encounter Q, you see that, you all? If we were to encounter, why did they say specifically this one right there? Why did they say specifically that? If we were to encounter Q, the Calamarian, or any of these other conjectural entities during a real, not conceptual, trek through the stars, we would be forced to concede that they do represent living systems because they have the attributes that we value in living systems. So that's what we need to, that's right. That's what we need to think about. Gina, honey, get your hands down. I will. This is so interesting. Why they're talking about Star Trek right here. That's what's so interesting. Why they're talking about it. So let me just say it. When we encounter Q, the Calamarian, or any of these other entities during a real trek through the stars, we will be forced to concede that they do represent living systems because they have the attributes that we value in the living systems. I'm getting my tongue twisted, you all. So they're gonna encounter Q and other entities, and during a real trek through the stars, and they're going to be forced to concede that they represent living systems. That's what they're saying. They're going to do it, you all. So look, they're telling us exactly what they're going to do. So look at you. Can you see me, you all? Yes, you can see me. Look at this, you all. So we would also, I'm going to put some words in here. We will also be forced, they're going to be forced to agree that they do not fall within the NASA definition of life. Okay? And we will be forced to agree that we need a new definition of life. They're going to say we need a new definition of life. And if the black cloud floats into our solar system and begins to apologize to us, we will certainly reject any definition that does not include it as a life, especially if we want to encourage particularly life forms. You just heard it straight from the horse's mouth. They are going to reject any definition that does not include it as a life form. If there's a black cloud, the dark matter that is in our solar system, You think they could be talking about the dark matter? Why they want to say dark cloud? Why don't they just say dark matter? This has far-reaching consequences. Very far-reaching consequences to us. It really does. That last sentence hit me like a ton of bricks reading it. It really did. And it's from a certain place that we're going to look at the rest of it, you all. We will. We're going to look at it. We do not now, okay, they're telling you right now, we do not, right now, we're not going to change our definition right now of life so as to accommodate Q or the black cloud or other examples of weird life from Hollywood, because we do not constructively believe that this kind of life is possible. Okay, you look at this. They have got this in italics. Italics. We do not now. See, they are emphasizing the word now. They know that in the future, back when this was written, they've had a heads up that something's coming. They've had a heads up that something's coming, and they will have to change their definition of life, no matter how weird it may be. No matter how weird it may be. Okay? So we're talking about these stars, and then we're talking about life. So let me get back to this, you all. We can get back to this. So a brief comment on the word constructive is in order. A constructive belief is one that we actually act upon. For example, many people, let me fix this, Gina. For example, many people say they believe, we're not going to say that word, will raise the sea, okay? And those people buying homes, you know where, who do buy homes there will not constructively believe that it's going to happen, even if they say they do. But look at this. You all, come on now. Look at this. Oh my gosh, you got it. Let me know. No. Let me look at this. With respect to Q or the black cloud. Okay. Come on now. Something is going on with respect to Q or the black cloud. What are they getting at? Oh no, you all. Do we see the words right underneath that? Transdimensional beings. Do we see that? Transdimensional beings. Imagine this place talking about transdimensional beings. They're more or less. Let's read the rest of it, shall we? We shall read the rest of it. You all, we can do it. We can read it. Oh, we're going to read this. We're going to read every bit of it. Yes, we are. So, with respect to Q or the black cloud, no one is proposing an early warning system to detect such entities. You're not proposing an early warning system to detect such entities? What are you doing? As disruptive as they would be if they were to appear. So you got that right there. They will not propose any early warning system to detect such entities as disrupted as they would appear if they were, that they would be if they were to appear. Well, I'm a little bit flabbergasted. I really am. I can't believe I'm reading this. Can you all believe we're reading this? Oh my gosh, you all. This is the strangest thing. This is this is not sci-fi. This is real world what's happening. This video needs to get shared far and wide. Far and wide. Because we're talking about a black cloud, and we're talking about a Q, and we're getting ready to talk about transdimensional entities and what defines life, no matter how weird it may be. That's oh my goodness, you all. I would have never even thought. I thought, what am I going to share today? This is what happened. I ended up right here. So, we do not devote our resources to protect ourselves from transdimensional beings or black clouds because we constructively do not believe that they can exist. Look at this. They did not put this part in italics right here. There's no italicizing right here. We constructively do not believe they can exist. Okay, look how they worded that. And then up here, Hollywood, we do not constructively believe that this kind of life is possible. Okay, first they use the word possible. Then they come down and use the word exist. So they're saying that it's possible, but they don't believe they can exist. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So, and again, this may not be for everyone. This video may not be for everyone. And if this is not for you, and if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. You really don't. Or you can watch it, and yeah, you can do that. But please be respectful in your comments, whether you agree or whether you disagree, okay? Because this is very informative. We're trying to learn, and we're trying to research what's being documented is what we're trying to do. Because I take this seriously, what I'm reading, okay? It's literally out here. It has been documented, okay? And there's a reason that it's been documented. It's extremely, extremely interesting. It really is. So let's get back to this. Likewise, oh my goodness, you all. Likewise, a group of beings who have achieved perfect immortality may no longer need to reproduce and may therefore lose their ability to reproduce. Well, what are they talking about there? A group of beings is going to perfect immortality? Wow. These, according to our definition theory, have lost their status as living systems. We do not now change our definition to life to include such beings because we do not constructively believe that perfect immortality is possible. Can I just say how strange of a reading this is? It's really strange. Biosignatures can also be incorporated into this view. According to our definition theory of life, nanites and androids, Data of Star Trek, I liked Data, Marvin of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I've never heard of that, are examples of artificial life. Okay, we do not doubt that Darwinian evolution can be simulated in a computer, and we do not doubt that androids can be created, including androids such as Data. that who wish to be human. Wish to be human. That's an intelligent life form. That's an intelligent life form. Is what it is. Our definition theory of life, however, excludes the possibility that computers, their viruses, or androids could have arisen without a creator that had already emerged by Darwinian process. So they have a creator. They have arisen. Okay, all of those computers, their viruses, and androids have a creator that had already emerged by the Darwinian process. Wow. So, instead, our definition theory regards as biosignatures evidence that life exists or existed, not life itself. Oh, okay. So, not life itself. Likewise, no matter how intelligent these android robots are, our definition theory of life requires us to regard their intelligence as artificial. Okay? And following similar reasoning under the definition theory, the computer in which nanites reside is not life, but it is evidence of a life form that created it. Well, of course, it's evidence of a life form that created it. I agree with that. It's a big evidence that somebody created it. Exactly right, you all. In this view, the computer is a biosignature and the nanites are an artificial life form. Any intelligence that either it displays would be artificial. They both are derived from a self-sustaining chemical system capable of Darwinian evolution, which must have created them. So look at that, you all. This is, oh, now, honey, why do you got to ask about this? Now, why would they have a question? Is humankind life? Is humankind life? Certainly, Darwinian theory holds that humankind attained its present forms via events where natural selection was superimposed upon random variation. By random, Darwinian theory requires that the variation must not be biased with respect to future outcome. The genetic mutations that we pass to our children in their cannot have arisen in anticipation of their ability to make our children fitter, even if they actually end up doing so. For all their power to create life in the world that we know, the Darwinian processes have some well-understood disadvantages. They condemn some of our children to do this and allow others to adapt. And for every mutation that allows some children to be bigger, better, and smarter, this Darwinian processes require dozens of mutations that make some children sick and from maladaptation. You all, this might be, yeah, you all might have to go look at this yourself, is what I have to say. So we can just look at this. I'm just going to do this, you all. I don't want to get too much into this. Okay, I really don't. Because we're talking about astrobiology. We might want to minimize the dilemma by arguing that supra-Darwinian life is rare. And our sun lived for about 10 billion years, and biology on Earth consumed about half that time to get from the origin of Earth to life. Okay, so yeah, you are. We're not going to go any further in that, okay? I'm not going to go any further down that line. I do not want to do that. I'm not going to do that. I really am not. But this was what was interesting. This is why I really went here. The NASA definition captures a theory of life, and they're talking about Star Trek, and they're talking about this Q, the Calamarian, and they say they would be forced to concede that they represent living systems, and all of that, you all. They're gonna, yeah. And with respect to Q, or the black cloud, no one is proposing an early warning system to detect such entities, as disruptive as they would be if they would appear. They're not going to tell you that they're coming. They're not going to tell you that they're coming, because they're not going to devote their resources to protect themselves from transdimensional beings or black clouds, because we constructively do not believe that they can exist. So what they're telling you, they're not going to do anything to stop them. Okay, they're not going to stop them. Transdimensional beings, Q, or the black cloud, there's going to be no early warning system to detect them at all, even though they know that they're going to be disruptive when they appear. All they say is, we just don't believe they can exist. And it would be a waste of resources to try to stop them. A waste of resources. This is deep. Okay, if you're just tuning in, this was a very deep subject. And I didn't know I was going to get into that. I had no idea. And I don't even know how, I don't know how that article came up. The only thing I did a search on is, I want to know about that star and how it had a lifespan of millions to billions and maybe trillions of years. I wanted to know the definition of life. And that popped up. Just like that. It popped right up, you all. That's how that happened. And it started talking about Star Trek and the Q and the black cloud and transdimensional beings, and all of that stuff is what it started talking about. Every bit of it is what happened. So I am going to be getting ready to go, you all. I hope you all... I don't know what to say about reading that in that particular space on the internet, in that home on the internet. Why they would even talk about that. And they, well, at least we know you're not going to get an early warning system. You're not. As disruptive as they may be when they appeared, no early warning for anybody, because they just don't believe it can happen, but they had to talk about it. Well, you can say you don't believe in something, but guess what? It doesn't make it not true. I can tell you I don't believe in something, and you can tell me you don't believe in something, but it does not make it not true. It does not at all. That's right, Ken Allen. Everything is alive, you all. Oh, Coop Gaming, you're so very welcome, you all. Yeah, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Gosh. It really makes me think. Actually, yeah, it's a knowing within me, and I'm sure there's a knowing within you all too. You know it. You know what's going on. You know it. You can feel it in your being. You feel it. Is Sammy D. It was called Defining Life. I put the link in this, is what I did. I'm going to put it in here again. Defining Life. Now, so Danny, honey, we're gonna come to this screen. You're gonna watch me. I'm getting ready to, down here, Gina Maria Colvin Hill. I'm getting ready to put the link, and as soon as I put it, you can copy it, copy that link, and go to it and read about Star Trek and NASA. Star Trek and NASA and the Q and all of that. It's right, Michelle Mountain. That's exactly right. Yes, we are here for this. Yes, that's right, you are. When you hit it, it makes the algorithms show it up more. You're so very welcome. That needs to get out. I would have never in my wildest dreams thought they'd be talking about NASA and Star Trek. It's pretty cool, and it really does go right in with what I'm supposed to be doing. It does. Yeah. Diana Hayward, it really does. It stops you in your tracks. Yeah. Well, the future. Yeah, who seriously would know? Well, they're living. They are living. Yeah. And Jamie, yeah. New life form, that's kind of funny. It really is, and it's probably true. Yeah. Sammy D, that's right. It does give you a lump in your throat because this is because with respect to the Q or the black cloud, no one is proposing an early warning system to detect such entities as disruptive as they would be if they were to appear. And we do not devote our resources to protect ourselves from transdimensional beings or black clouds because we constructively do not believe that they can exist. So see what they try to do. A constructive belief is one that we actually act upon. See, a constructive belief is one that they would act upon. But they're not saying, yeah, they just don't want to, they don't want to go there, you all. They don't want to go there, but they did go there. And they did not want to go any further. They did not want to expand it any further. And do you blame them? Do you blame them? Now you go tell your friends that particular internet home was talking about Star Trek and the hypothetical entities in them and the hypothetical entities that exist. So yeah, that's okay, you all. Thank you so much for coming on here. And with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. And let me move this away. Hello, from my heart to yours. Love you. And thank you so much for joining me. And thank you, moderators. And thank you all for all your comments. You know, we have tipped over 100,000 subscribers, which is wonderful. It really is. It helps get the news out. What's happening in our world, it really is getting it out, because this right here this is probably one of the most important videos I've done in a long time because of the information that was contained and from where that information came from. It's one of the most important videos, and it shouldn't be taken lightly, and it should be taken very seriously. It should. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. I really do. And thank you again so much for coming on here.